Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 6th edition of our Expert Talk series, Latest Trends in Tourism. My name is Geraldine Förster, and it is my great pleasure to welcome today Mr. Bernhard Bonenberger, President of Six Senses Hotels, Resorts and Spas. Mr. Bonenberger, or in short BB, is a graduate from EHL, the hotel school in Lausanne. Today he is also a member of their advisory board and a very respected member of the community. He joined Six Senses in 1991 as development director and was soon promoted to managing director in 1996. Since 2011 he is president of Six Senses, and we met earlier this year. I was fascinated by his story and I invited him to come, and I would really like to thank you for taking this invitation and being here tonight. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you. A very good afternoon. Is there feedback or can you hear me? Is that okay? Floor? Better? Well, very good afternoon. A big thank you to Mrs. Förster for inviting me. Very excited to be here and to hopefully be able to give you some inspirations. It's always been my philosophy not to follow what everybody else does, and hence the subject. Is this any better? Yeah? Better? Hence the subject of the talk is Dare to be Different. Because this is not great. Where should we put it? Does any better? Can we make it a bit less strong, or should I take this? Yeah, better? Better? Yeah. Let's try again. Good? Yes? Okay, thank you. Okay, fine. Well, I've always found in life that following what others do is pretty boring. Not very inspiring and not worth the while. Although that's what most do. If you look at most hotel chains, most restaurants, most brands, they do just pretty much what everybody else does. A little twist on it. But that's the reason why we started Six Senses. 25, 26 years ago, the resort world was mostly city hotels thrown somewhere at a beach. Let's say a beautiful island in Thailand or in Bali or somewhere else, and it was just a city hotel where you had a big wall around, ignoring the locals, importing all the foods from far away, bringing salmon from Scotland and Norway and caviar from somewhere else, and importing pretty much everything and ignoring the destination. So we said, well, why would you travel? If you just check into a hotel where you then dress up for dinner in a place that's in the tropics, it's beautiful weather outside, you ignore all that, you air condition, and you behave like in the city. So why would you do that? You can actually just check into your local hotel in London or Vienna or somewhere and have a good holiday. Save yourself the flight and the travel. And so that's why Six Senses started. So that was already saying, let's be different and let's have fun at what we do. It's not for everybody. There is some people who love routine and they'll love a normal, typical hotel chain. And then there's Six Senses, were a bit different. It's challenging, it's lots of work, but at the same time, I never perceive it as work. It's actually fun, and hence, I think it's more worthwhile. Now, a bit of the story and the philosophy of Six Senses. This is the world in which most of our clients live. Vienna is it's a bit more beautiful than this, but some places look like that. But even in Vienna, you have stress, you have pollution, you have traffic, you have noise, and particularly you are continuously on devices. You think you actually, should we just change it up? Yeah, I think so. Won't be able to do it like that. Is that any better?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Did you hear what I said before, or should I start again?
No.
All right. So, Vienna may be more beautiful than that, or Paris may be, but still people are stressed. And they think they're extremely connected, right? They're always on their devices, but actually we think they're disconnected. Disconnected from themselves, disconnected from the world, and hence our company vision, motto, philosophy is to help people reconnect with themselves, with loved ones, with others in the world around them. That's what we stand for. For a hotel resort management company, that's maybe strange because there's nothing in there that speaks hotel, right? Our places are to really relax. We tell our guests, take very little. Take just hand luggage. A few t-shirts, sarongs, shorts, that's all you need if you come, let's say, to Maldives. There we even tell you at Six Senses Lambo, don't even bring more than one pair of shoes, because we'll take them away from you. As you land into the nearby airport and we pick you up by boat, on that boat we'll take your shoes away. They go into a bag that says no news, no shoes. Because that island has wonderful soft sand and it's the biggest luxury you can imagine to walk around barefoot. So you don't need to bring much. A lot of celebrities, royal families, heads of state, movie stars love to come because we never talk about them. We leave them alone. And it's so dressed down that most of them won't even be recognized. And if they get recognized, it's an environment that is not conducive to bothering them. So they love to come, and we have, luckily, a lot of them. Our brand values, at Six Senses we have 6 brand values. Just let me walk you through them quickly and then I explain in more detail. Local sensitivity, global sensibility. That's why we started in the first place. We want to be sensitive to where we are in the world, why you have traveled, why you've gone somewhere. At the same time, we have to understand that our guests are extremely well traveled, they've been around the world, and we have to be aware that they have a global understanding. The second is responsible and caring. Now, there's a lot to do with sustainability, taking care of the environment, but it's also caring for others, caring for our guests, caring for our employees, and being generally responsible in what we do. Crafted experiences. Now, others sell rooms, villas, food, treatments. Six Senses really is there to create, to craft, to tailor-make experiences for the guests. Emotional hospitality, that is teaching those who work with Six Senses to work from the heart, or even employ people who have the right attitude, who love to take care of others, and work from the heart and soul. And then for a company charging quite high rates, maybe you'll find it strange that one of our 6 values is fun and quirky. When we started 26 years ago, a high-end, expensive hotel had to be serious. All staff were not meant to laugh. Guests were dressing up, they would be stiff, everybody would look at each other. That was the world of the luxury hotel industry. And we said, anyhow, why, if you pay a lot of money, why can't we still have fun? So, fun and quirky is part of it. And that includes those who work with Six Senses. The dream is that everybody working with us enjoys what they do, because then they'll do a better job. And finally, it's pioneering wellness. We are into spas, and it goes far beyond just treatments. So here's the local fabric I talked about. Local building materials. Working with as much as you can locally, with local builders, local people, local ways of constructing, interacting with the local community. What is there better than having children be able to explore? We take children into local temples in some places, in Thailand, where they would meet monks or novices the same age, and then they would have somebody translate and learn about it. Or do cooking classes, or go fishing, or do lots of stuff and explore the destination. Whereas most of our competitors, they have kids clubs. A kids club is a room that's painted with lots of colors, there's lots of colorful plastic. It has Disney Channel, it has PlayStations, and that's about it. We think, well, you can have that in your city at home. If you come to, let's say, Maldives, why would you want to stay in a plastic room and do the same you could do in the city? It's cooking classes. It's really the local fabric, the local touch, and being close to that. And then it's sustainability. Out of necessity, when we first did a resort in Maldives about 22 years ago, it was very hard to get fresh vegetables, fresh salads, fruit. Everything came by ship, usually came old and not fresh. So we decided to import onto that sand island some earth from India and to create a vegetable garden. And then, since then, always feed the earth with compost. Everything the hotel is compost and goes back, and the earth becomes richer and richer, and we grow some amazing vegetables. We then decided, why not do this everywhere? So today, every Six Senses has vegetable gardens, mushroom huts, we grow sprouts, we have honeybees, we now have chicken for eggs, we do milk from goats and sheep and do cheese. And I read all the guest comments that come. Nobody speaks about the fantastic wines we have on the list, or whatever else may be perceived as luxurious. That's what guests write. They say, I can't believe that taste of that rucola that almost burns you in the mouth because it's so fresh. I couldn't have that even in my organic shop in wherever I come from. For about 15 years we have been making our own water. So we do not have, this is glass, luckily, congratulations. But what's worse than taking a plastic bottle from Switzerland, shipping it around the world, past people who are dying because they don't have water, drinking it and chucking the plastic. So we decided long ago, we're not going to do this. We have these recyclable bottles. We have a place in every hotel where we filter the water, mineralize it, energize it, and then make bubbly and still water and serve that to the guests. In the room it's free, and in the restaurants we sell it at a typical local price, and half of the income goes to water charities, bringing water, fresh water to people who don't have access to it. And obviously it's interacting with the local community. We give 0.5%, doesn't sound much, but if you think of a typical Six Senses resort, has a turnover of about $15–20 million a year, and 0.5% of that is quite a good amount. That goes in every Six Senses to the local community, the local environment, to improve it. We had huge problems with that in the beginning. We are a management company, we don't own our properties, our resorts. We have management agreements with owners. And initially they said, before I make lots of money, why should I give anything to the local community? So we said, well, we are not going to sign unless you do. Today, things have changed. People understand that it actually helps. It gives you more loyal guests. It gives you more loyalty and understanding from the local community. And later on, when that owner wants to build something else in the country, he can point to all the good that has been done with that money. And it actually helps. It's more profitable as well. Here are the crafted experiences. Maybe our most famous one is the way you can check into Six Senses Sea Bay in Oman. So imagine we pick you up from Dubai International Airport, we drive you for 2 hours, highways, and then you go into Oman, and then you go up that hill, and there's maybe no point, never mind. You arrive up here at 400 meters height, and then you can either take the road down to the resort, or we can actually fly you down with a paraglide instructor. Now, most guests actually don't do it on arrival, they will do it whilst they're there. So we take them back up the hill and they paraglide down. It's a huge success. We charge $150 for the jump. The guest loves it and thinks it's great value because it's a fantastic experience. The guests will selfie themselves, they will film. The family is waiting below at the beach, they film them. It goes out on social media. So this actually represents about $350,000 of revenue per year. Just that. Huge profitability because the cost is not much. The guest loves it and it's a great marketing story. So we have actually done a student project last year where we had a group of students working for us for a year during their studies on finding other crazy wild ideas that we could do that could be a similar success. More simple ideas that we have again as a signature in all Six Senses is outdoor cinema. So imagine being on the beach,
sun's just going down, seeing the stars in the sky, you have the movie stars on the screen, you're lying in a sun lounge, you're having a glass of wine, you're watching a movie. And a movie that you wouldn't normally find on a plane or in a typical channel, but something really interesting that goes with the destination. We have gyms, we do have gym equipment, there's some guests who insist on it and want it, but we encourage guests to go out. We have a lot of yoga and exercises going outside. And then it's creating memories, really creating amazing places. Just a dinner for two up on a rooftop in Six Senses Qingqing Mountain in China. Bringing street food into the hotel. If you go to some countries, you may not dare to eat in the street, you may not know whether it's hygienic or healthy, so being actually able to bring a street cook into the hotel, make sure that it's clean and safe, but let the guest experience true local food that is, again, something the guests rave about. So simple, it's cheap to do, very cheap to do, but the guests love it. So, what a difference from that foie gras and the caviar that's flown in, right? Isn't that much more relevant? And then it's finding great places, like here we have a cave in Six Senses Ninh Thuan Bay in Vietnam, which we turned into wine cellar. There's some guests actually booked that resort just to have one dinner in there. These are our hosts, that's the emotional hospitality. And we have language issues. In some countries, it is very hard to get enough language skills from the wider circle of the team. So we have what we call GEMs, guest experience makers. You could traditionally call it a butler, but that goes much further. That GEM will actually be in touch with the guest before arrival to find out what they want to have. And during the stay, they orchestrate everything they do. When they leave the room, they will call the restaurant, say they're coming. By the way, they're vegetarians. Don't ask them about the steak tonight because they don't eat steak. And the guest will not explore the same repetitive, robotic thing you get in most hotels. Typical hotel, at the restaurant, ignoring whether you're talking to each other, just go there and say, hi, I'm your waiter tonight, and that's what's on our menu, and that, and that, and that, and that. Why? So react to what the guest actually wants. It's really important. And those GEMs help us, and GEM is also a precious, wonderful person, so these GEMs helping us to orchestrate the guest stay. Very often they stay friends and they stay connected, and some guests will come back because of them. And they coordinate with all the other employees, and we call them hosts. So when employing, when training, when speaking to all our hosts, we always instill in them emotional hospitality, to really work from their feelings, work from their understanding of what the guest wants, and react to it. Never just robotically repeat certain things to say it, but always react to what the guest wants. And then creating a lot of amazing experiences, like a picnic on a rock, or in the Maldives we have several islands that we keep clean, and we will drop you there. A couple, a family, set up a picnic and then we go. We pick you up 3 hours later and you've been Robinson Crusoe, completely left alone. So those are fantastic experiences that the guests really crave for. And it's teaching the hosts rather to listen than to always talk. Listen with the ears, listen with the eyes, see what the guest wants. In most restaurants, you have a conversation and somebody's like, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. It's no need to say excuse me for water, right? React to it. You may have a guest sitting there alone waiting and they want to talk, so talk to them. So it's all about teaching to think and to react to what the guest really needs and wants, rather than just mechanically doing it. Otherwise we could just employ robots to do that. Okay. Here's the fun and quirky, so that goes into the design. Up there is an example of a do not disturb sign, sleepy eyes, don't come in, I'm sleeping. Or awake eyes, so fine, you can come in. We have goats roaming around in one of our resorts. We have a fire tuk-tuk, a fire engine, and we put little funny signs behind the bicycles in some of the resorts. Every guest has a bicycle. So if it's a honeymoon couple, we'll put just married. And if they bike the other way around, it says married, just. So it's all play on words, play on things, and nowadays with social media, guests love it. They will photograph it and send it out. It helps us to market a lot and entertain the guests and amuse them Again, why does it have to be serious just because you are paying a lot? And it's pioneering wellness. So that's our yoga master in Six Senses Douro Valley in Portugal. We do a flying yoga, we do in all our resorts yoga for free for the guests. I see you do it here too, we saw them in the staircase. So there's free yoga in all 6 senses in the morning for the guests who want it, and then during the day there is individual classes if the guest wants. But wellness at 6 senses is really not just treatments and a bit of exercise, but we've taken it much further. We have a wellness board composed of 3 famous doctors. One is Dr. Mehmet Oz, you may have heard of him, a TV personality in the States. He has always researched alternative healing, preventative healing. He's actually still a cardiosurgeon. He operates on the heart almost every day, but he's always looked for ways to avoid operating. And he has helped us with a lot of our wellness that goes not just into the spa, but comes to the entire resort. Then there's Dr. Bruce, who is a famous sleep doctor. He helps heads of state and CEOs to find sleep again when they are too worried and stressed and can't sleep. He's helped us to put together sleep programs for our guests. Because many today on a holiday want to learn something and take it back into their daily life. Nowadays, you can go on a holiday and drink too much and eat too much and party too much and come back feeling worse. But most guests actually want to come back feeling happy and better. Now, we are not a health clinic. You can come and you have a beer and a hamburger and nobody will bother you. Absolutely fine. But it's all available if you want to go deeper. So that's Dr. Oz there on the right. We've also worked with some Chinese doctors. And we do some wellness screenings. So there are ways to measure your body markers and biomarkers and your fitness levels. And if a guest wants it, we can put programs together. A lot of guests initially say, I'm not interested. They hear more from other guests, they want to do it, and then they get intrigued. And actually, we sell a lot of product and treatments from that, where guests then spend a few $100s on things that will help them to make them feel better, that are good value, but also good revenue for 6 senses. We have one person, a nutritionist, who has been guided by another of these famous doctors, Dr. Gundry in America. He's written many books on nutrition. He's also a heart surgeon. He himself was quite unwell, too heavy, too big, and he learned that with the right nutrition you can actually have a healthier life, a better life, and less operations and less medicine needed. So his mission is that, and he has trained or put together our nutritional guidelines. So I spoke about that hamburger. It will be a great hamburger, it will taste great, but the ingredients inside are much healthier than you would get elsewhere. So it's the best grass-fed meat, the ketchup is homemade and not from a bottle, the bread will be gluten-free, and an egg. So we try to find ways to present you with much healthier food without you feeling that it's boring health food. So don't get it wrong when I talk so much about wellness that we are a clinic. And then it's sleep with 6 senses. It's quite a fun logo down there. And where we put together a whole new series of bedding, of mattresses, of bedding that allows the heat and the humidity to go. You sleep much, much better and feel better. And we can also measure your sleep and give you advice on it. And then we do holistic anti-aging. There's nothing chemical, nothing invasive, but ways for people to rejuvenate and return looking and feeling better after their stay. So the 6 senses wellness approach is really a layered approach. You can just have a reflexology or foot massage, or you can have a nice treatment, or you can go much, much deeper and stay for 12 days and do a serious program in a great atmosphere that doesn't feel thin. We do currently manage 12 hotels, and I'll show them to you, but we also manage spas. We today manage 31 spas throughout the world. We are in quite a few Ritz-Carlton hotels. We are with Etihad Airways in their first and business class lounges in Abu Dhabi and in London Heathrow, and we are in quite a few other places. So we do manage spas also in hotels that we are not controlling ourselves. That's how some of our spas look like. I just show this because you may have heard of Six Senses more for spas than for hotels. That's because we have 3 times more spas than hotels. This is in Vietnam and in Maldives. That's how a resort spa looks like. Very often we put it in the middle of the island or in the back somewhere, because in a spa you don't see much, right? You're lying down, facing up, your eyes closed. So the spa doesn't have to be in a fantastic view location. That's where your villa is, that's where you look out all day. But the spas very often are in a meditative place, more internal. That's some of our membership spas. The one on the left is our largest one, 8,000 square meters in Doha, in the Ritz-Carlton managed hotel there. The one on the bottom right is in Marbella, in the Puerto Romano hotel. The other one is in Greece. It's just to give you atmospheres of different look and feel of spas. But it's always true to the destination, true to where we are. We are in the Alpina Hotel in Gstaad in Switzerland. We are in Courchevel in France. So that's how some of the alpine spas look like. And then we are in several cities. I'll get back later to this. This photo here is our spa in Paris. That's downstairs. We were given a basement in a wonderful location, just next to Place Vendôme. But it's a basement. So we said, how can we overcome that feeling of just being in a basement? So we have cameras on top of the roof, and we film the live sky of Paris. And whether it's night or day or it rains or it's sunshine, you'll see that there. Those are the treatment rooms, so you have views onto it, and you actually think you're on a rooftop. And when you come into the spa, you walk down, this is just outside the Paris street, and you walk right down past a light green growing wall and into a very different space. You leave the city behind and you really get away from it. So in these spas we can give guests a bit of Six Senses on a daily basis, where we can only come to Six Senses on a longer holiday once, twice a year. And then we are in airport lounges, as I said. Now quickly to the properties that we manage. Six Senses Samui, already 16 years old, just undergone a complete renovation. It has a wonderful restaurant at the bottom right. It's called On the Rocks. So it's within the rocks. You have all these platforms hanging there. We have some very private tables where nobody can see you. We set everything up and we leave the guests. So those we charge quite a lot for special experiences. We have a lot of guests coming from outside just for that restaurant. Six Senses Siam Noi in Thailand. It's an island near those James Bond rocks. It's halfway or an hour from Phuket and halfway or an hour from Krabi. And it is currently the highest performing hotel in all of Thailand. So if you look at RevPAR, revenue per available room, this is the highest RevPAR in all of Thailand, of any brand or hotel. We were told that we are mad to go there because it's a faraway island, it's in the jungle, there's nothing there, you can't go out and party, that island is very little, there's a few fishermen. But the success is people today want to get away from it. They don't want to be in a place that's overcrowded. We also have a second brand, historically called Everson. It's about half the rate, double the number of rooms, but the same philosophy. There is one in Hua Hin in Thailand. Then we are in Vietnam, Six Senses Ninh Van Bay. Imagine that entire bay here, 2 kilometers from these rocks. There's villas in these rocks. Then you have beach villas all around the bay. And then you have, again, villas in these rocks here. Some of them have actually pools carved into the rocks, bathtubs carved into the rocks. And there's nobody else in that bay. It's maybe our most exclusive destination. And that has that cave that's been turned into a wine cellar. Then Six Senses Con Dao, another totally private bay on an island south of Vietnam. There is an Everson in Vietnam. That was our first property there. It just had its 20th anniversary in September. When we opened, there was no international hotels. There were still people following you in the street because they were afraid of foreigners. So the Communist Party had people follow you. You still needed permits 20-something years ago to go from one province to the other. There was hardly anything. There was no international hotels, just government-managed hotels. We started that resort there.